Hello and welcome back to Cody's Radio Workshop. On the bench at the minute is a sight very rarely seen on the Cody's bench. It's a DAB radio, digital audio broadcasting piece of... I'll leave that to your imagination. This has come to me via a family friend who said that it no longer picks up any radio stations, nor does it pick up the clock signal or anything else. I don't go, I'll just get this caveat out of the way first, I don't go into diagnosing, usually, DAB faults. I'm quite happy with frequency modulation or AM, LW, shortwave, bog standard analog sets, not digital. So if it's anything more than anything basic, that's the problem with this, it's not getting done. So now that's out of the way, if I press the auto tune and hold that in, nothing at all, press standby and it goes on to quick services. So this is doing a quick scan, the aerial is extended. No services found. And if I press and hold and do a full scan, this takes a little while longer. Talk amongst yourselves while this is doing what an analog tech could do in a second. Just over halfway now. Dum-de 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 dum. No services found. So I thought we'll do a factory reset. And the way to do the factory reset is to hold the advanced button. I mean this, I'll just mention this first as well. It's a Roberts DAB digital clock radio and model number is CRD-19. So if you need to do a reset, you press and hold the advanced button until it says sleep set, and then quick press on the same button, backlight, manual tune, system reset. And then you press the menu here, which is also the select button. It does a system reset, and then it does a scan services quick scan again. No services found. Services not applicable. So, I'm going to pop this open and have a look. The only thing I can tell from the exterior of the set is the aerial is really quite loose. The nut doesn't seem to want to turn anymore, so I'm going to open it up and just have a look at the inside and make sure that the aerial is connected. And that's probably as far as I will go with it. As I say, DAB is not, has never been and never will be my area of speciality. There are so many tiny components inside these things. I've had the DAB sets on the bench, you know, historically, and even fault finding, signal tracing, etc. Just the basic stuff is a nightmare. But we'll have a look inside and see if we can't figure something out. But if not, sadly, it's not going to be any good for anything other than parts. It'll just end up on my parts bench. They won't want it back if it's not working. So it would just end up on my parts bench for spares. I mean, there's the Robert's PU15 AC adapter. I know it's got a good screen in it, for instance. I've no idea about the speaker. But we need to get off this aerial now, and that's going to be quite tricky because it's in a recess, can't get anything over it. Oh, it is quite loose actually, I'm just working that around with the driver. So if I undo that as far as I can, it's going to be fastened inside, isn't it? Right, let's try and work out with the spudger. We'll zoom us out a little. With the spudger to try and open this case up. Again, I have absolutely zero idea of how this thing comes to pieces. Spudgers are great things. There we go. So there's the top off. Got an 8 ohm 3 watt speaker inside. And a lot of watermarking on the circuit board. I don't know if you can see that. Get you down. So it's been mildly moist at some point. But what I'm really interested in looking at is this aerial, and I think it will be this aerial cable here. Now, one thing that I can do is get my aerial clip wire and clip it directly onto the DAB module, to the centre tap of the aerial wire, and we will power it back up again and see if we get a signal this time. If so, then there's a problem with the aerial cable, which should be simple to resolve. So we're plugged in again. I'll just pop something underneath there so you can see what's going on. It goes through the rigmarole of doing the clock setting, and you can't turn it on or off or anything when it's doing that. Clock not applicable. Good. Scan services. Zero services found, and that's with the external aerial connected. So let's have another look inside and see if we can work anything else out. It's most likely to be this module, the DAB module inside here, and if I zoom us back out a bit there, you have a look. That's the DAB module. It's most likely to be this, and getting these as a working replacement is a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. But just look at that board. I mean, it's obviously a board for several different sets, because this one's just set out for this set, but there are so many components missing that are illustrated on the board. So I'm guessing that this is also for a posher version of the clock radio. So we've got that clipped on there for the DAB aerial. Right, what else can we do? Just to make sure all the connectors are actually pressed in and connected. The top of the big cap's fine. All the other caps look fine. It's just really, apologies there. It's just really, from my point of view, is trying to diagnose the obvious. Let's try the clip on the aerial again, but we'll also clip on an earth lead, because there's an earth to that DAB module case, so I'll put that to the earth on the external aerial. Just making up a lead now, just to be able to stretch all the way. Over to the external aerial. Oh, I dropped it there. As I say, I don't go massively into diagnosing these sets. They're just not worth my doing. I just can't clip that on there. It won't stay on. Let's try it from the other position there. That's better. So now we'll try a full auto tune now that we've got the centre tap for the coax and the earth to the chassis of the DAB module connected. Reluctant to close that up, but there we go, we're about halfway at the minute. Paint and all sorts of nasties on there. I couldn't ever, I mean, I know it's DAB, but I couldn't ever let a set get like that. Yep, 0 services found again. So it's most likely to be this DAB module that is faulty, which isn't something that I have. Nor will I have. Let's connect well, tighten up the aerial again, because that really was loose. Now that I'm on the inside, I can hold the other side quite snug. Little bit loose. I just cannot get a pair of pliers or a socket or anything onto that. Probably can now from the inside. So test the meter, all tangled up from previous things I've been doing this morning. We've got continuity to the aerial, so it's not the coax, and we've got continuity to the case as well, to the chassis of the DAB module. I hate these things with a passion, they're just a nightmare. All that's going to be wrong with that, and I say all, is this DAB module. And look at the size of the components on that. Why did we have to go? I know this is technology and it's progressing and you can make things a lot smaller nowadays, but why did we have to go to this kind of stuff that you can't possibly work on? You know, the answer to this is get another module from something else, whip this one out, throw it away and put the new one in, job done. But this one, no, I think it's dead in the water. A little bit further investigation, but I think that's it, guys. It's not worth my time to try and diagnose it any further, but I will keep certain parts out of it. As I say, there's the screen and the aerial and the mains adapter, really. Oh, and the speaker. That'll be useful at some point, I dare say. But aside from that, yeah, going to leave it pretty much as it is. Sad to say, but this one is generally landfill. Thanks very much for watching. Catch you in the next one. Hi and welcome back. Not one to ever want to give up. I did notice before I started to consider robbing this for parts that underneath where the DAD module goes, which is there, I could just see some scorching on the board. It's just a slightly different colour. So I removed the DAD module. Look at that puppy. Right, so right under the DAD module is this area here, and I can't see anything untoward on there, and it's that area there that would fit around where the scorching is. So I've pulled off one of the caps, which is a 220 at 16 volts, and if I bring in the peak, I can work myself past all of the confusion on the bench. There we go. Pop into the stand. There we go. So I'll just zoom you out so you can see what I'm attaching. Turn that on. Yep, you can read that. So I'm actually attaching this, which is 220 at 6.3. One on one side and one on the other, and then watch that peak. 6.5 ohm ESR, and it's out of tolerance as well. It should be 220, it's 184. So I'm going to swap that one, and I'll test the other one as well, which is right next to it, right next to the burnt area on the board, which is this one. So I'll pull that one as well. Test it and swap it out if needed, and then reassemble roughly and see how we get on. So I'll be back soon. Ongoing. And we're back again. Apologies on my last segment there, I said it was a 220 at 16 volts. It's not, it's 220 at 6.3, which I do have. Rubicons. A bit reluctant to use these in this, but see how we go. I'll pop that into there. Let's get some flux on it. Make sure I don't put IPA on it by mistake like I did on a previous repair. They're both in the same sort of bottle. I really do need to mark them. I'll show you what I mean in a second. There we go. And when they're that way around, I just ended up picking up the wrong one, so I'll put some different coloured insulation tape on them, and then I'll know at a glance. Right, let's get some solder and fire up the iron. There we go. That's in there, but I just want to make that sit nicely. It's better. And the other leg. I don't like using good quality caps on crap like this, but it's the only ones I've got. So we'll pull the other one, which is 220 at 6.3, and there's another. There's not so much arcing around there, there's not so much scorching, but I'll probably end up pulling all of the 1, 2, there's another down there at the bottom. I think that probably be okay, but I'll definitely pull that one and the one next to it as well, and just check it again. 220 at 6.3, so a couple more Rubicons, which I do have a few of. on the bandolier. So let's get this cap out. Try and keep you in while I'm doing. Tangled up with wires here, so apologies if I keep pulling out of shot. There we go. Making sure, let's get that tape off. There we go. Correct polarity. And again, the flux just to help it along. The solder, pop a leg on. Lift up the cap from the other side now that we've got some solder on it, and that holds it in place while we put the second leg on. Then they're nice and straight on the other side. It's my neatness OCD. There we go, we've got those two caps on. A little bit of scorching, but I think that's spread from the main area there, but I will test that cap as well. Let's bring that back in. Let's just test the one that I've just taken off. There's probably nothing wrong with this one, to be honest. But oh yeah, in-circuit leaky, 13 ohm ESR, so that cap's bad as well. So we will pull the other one. Dab. Nightmare stuff. No way of fault finding other than common knowledge, you know, common sense. Straighten that leg up there so I can withdraw it easier. Sit up. So we've just pulled that one out, so let's give that a test. The in-circuit leaky there is from the previous one. So $204 at 2 ohm. Yeah, it's on its way. So we'll swap that one out as well. Can't believe I'm putting good caps into a crap board. Nevertheless, it's all good character building stuff. If life were easy, we'd be bored. After I've done this, it might not even resolve it. It might have taken other components out with it. Let's make that sit up again. There we go. So there's the 3 caps that I've replaced next to the scorching on that board. And there's the 3 caps that I took out. One's trying to run away. Still trying to run away. Let's get the peak back out and just test them all again so you can see what's what. That one really wants to run away. Hopefully you can see that. So this is the first one. 179 should be 220, 7.8 ohm ESR. Had it. And the next one, 193, 2.9 ohms on its way. I think this was the peach. In circuit leaky, 16 ohm. Well shot. Right. Just looking for any other obvious. I mean, all of these caps here are the same brand, and I would end up, you know, a big part of me wants to pull them and test them all, but it's only those next to the Scorchio there that I've been interested in for the moment. So what we can do now is bob the DAB module back in. I hate these things with a passion. I'm only going this far because it's a favour for a mate. And we'll screw the aerial in. I'm leaving the legs on those caps that I've just put in, because if this doesn't work, I'll probably pull those caps back out and put them back into my spares. I'm not willing to sacrifice Rubicons for some DAB crap unless it's resolved. So we need to get that earth wire back onto there. Let's get the pliers this time to hold that down. And what's tacking on. Come on, melt. That's got it enough anyway. And let's see if we can, don't know if we can, get this thing back together enough for us to test it out of the case. And do a scan and see if we can't pick any more signals up now. Let's make that sit nicely in there. And we'll get the speaker connected back up. Can't tell you how much I hate these things. They're just not nice at all to work on. Nasty, nasty, nasty things. Now I need to get the display but we'll connect that way. Apologies for the noise in the background too, that's the desolderer, Cody's best friend in the workshop. That's not wanting to sit nicely on now. I hope we haven't got any bent pins. Yeah, that's got it. Right, so at least we are back together. Now, let's apply some power. If I can find what I've done with the we've got clock setting now. Can't do anything about that at all until it's done its due, whatever it's doing. Again, talk amongst yourselves while we're waiting for this to catch up. Doesn't matter what button you press, it won't come on until it's finished doing. And in fact, the digits, oh, they are moving. thought it had frozen then. It's found the clock time. It's looking promising. No guarantees. Let's do an auto tune. I haven't got the aerial pulled up either. But let's see if it finds anything. Outstanding. Dab fixed. Let's pull the aerial up and get it connected to the external.
Good answers, good questions, I made it.
BBC if let's go for radio 2. There we go. It was those 3 nasty caps.
There is Liam Gallagher. The song is Once, and it's on his album Why Me, Why Not? His new
So
solo
we're on
album,
and we're working.
Which is out on Friday. Incidentally, on Friday he'll be
Let's have a look.
appearing on Zoe Ball's breakfast show. So there you are. It's the album of the week.
There we go.
Now,
That's what we've got
live music
on
in Hyde Park. We had an absolute plethora of it over the weekend. Proms in the Park on Saturday, and Radio 2 Live in Hyde Park on Sunday. On that, Simply Red, Kelsey Ballerini, Bananarama, Clean Bandit, Status Quo, Pet Shop Boys, and Westlife, who had the crowd.
There we go. It's sorted. I've fixed a dab set. I cannot believe it. I'm going to run a full lap around the garden wearing nothing but my clothes. Thanks very much everybody. Catch you in the next one. Ciao for now.